Chris attack little people's. Chris mocks ex Karen Chandler to visitors and says she's totally against renting out family home to fans. Let's jump right into the latest buzz surrounding Little People, Big World, and the claims that Chris Merrick, Amy Roloff's husband, has been mocking his ex, Karen Chandler, to visitors at Rolloff Farms. The rumor also suggests that Chris said Karen is totally against renting out the family home to fans. This has sparked a lot of chatter among fans, especially on platforms like That's, where people are dissecting every detail of the Roloff family drama. So, what's going on here? Is there any truth to these claims? Or is this just another case of fans stirring the pot? Let's break it all down piece by piece and see what we can make sense of. First, let's set the stage with some context about Chris Merrick and Karen Chandler in the Little People, Big World universe. Chris is married to Amy Roloff, the matriarch of the Rolloff family, who co-founded Rolloff Farms with her ex-husband, Matt Roloff. Karen Chandler, on the other hand, is Matt's long-term partner, and she's been a big part of the show, often seen helping out at the farm, especially during pumpkin season. The claim that Chris is mocking Karen and talking about her stance on renting out the family home is juicy, but it's also tricky because there's no direct evidence from reliable sources to confirm these specific actions or statements. The rumor seems to have popped up from fan discussions, possibly misinterpretations or exaggerations of real events at the farm. So, let's explore what we do know and why this story is getting so much attention. To start, we need to address the relationship between Chris and Karen. Contrary to the rumor's phrasing, Karen Chandler is not Chris Marek's ex. Chris and Amy got married in 2021, and before that, Chris was not romantically linked to Karen in any documented way. Karen has been with Matt Roloff since around 2017, after Matt and Amy's divorce in 2016, So, the idea that Chris is mocking an ex named Karen seems to stem from a misunderstanding or a fan-invented narrative. It's possible that fans are confusing the complex dynamics of the Roloff family, where exes and new partners coexist in a public way, thanks to the show. Amy and Matt, despite their divorce, still interact because of the farm and their kids, and Chris and Karen are often around each other at family or farm events. This could create fertile ground for rumors about tension or shade-throwing. Now, let's talk about the claim that Chris is mocking Karen to visitors at Rolloff Farms. Rolloff Farms is a huge part of Little People, Big World, famous for its pumpkin season, agritourism events, and tours. Matt has been running the farm as a business, with Karen heavily involved in operations, while Amy has stepped back but still has a connection to the property. The idea of Chris talking to visitors, presumably tourists or fans visiting the farm, and making comments about Karen sounds like something that could happen in casual conversation, but there's no verified report of this. Fans on platforms like That's are buzzing about this, possibly because they've heard secondhand stories from visitors or seen posts that amplify small interactions into big drama. Chris said Karen is totally against renting out the family home to fans is equally intriguing. The family home likely refers to the main farmhouse on Rolloff Farms, where Matt and Amy raised their kids. After their divorce, Matt moved out, and Amy eventually sold her portion of the farm to Matt in 2020, but continued living in the farmhouse until she moved to a new home with Chris. Matt has since turned parts of the farm into a tourist attraction, including short-term rental properties like a converted barn, which has been controversial among family members. The idea of renting out the actual family home, where Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob grew up, would be a big deal, and it's plausible that Karen, who works closely with Matt on farm decisions, might have opinions about it. But here's where it gets murky. There's no public statement from Karen saying she's against renting out the home, and no evidence that Chris is out there telling visitors this. Matt has been open about wanting to expand the farm's business, including rentals, which caused tension with Zach and Tori, who felt he was prioritizing profit over family legacy. If Karen were against renting out the home, it could be because she respects the emotional significance of the house to the Roloff kids, or maybe she's just being practical about the logistics. But Chris claiming this to visitors? That feels like a stretch, especially since Chris isn't a central figure in the farm's operations. He's more likely to be there supporting Amy during events, not leading tours or gossiping about Karen. So, Why are fans latching onto this story? Little people, Big World has always thrived on family drama, and the Roloff family has given fans plenty to talk about over the years. The biggest feud in recent seasons was between Matt and Zach over the sale of Rolloff Farms. Matt decided not to sell part of the farm to Zach and Jeremy, which led to a major rift, with Zach and Tori moving to Battleground, Washington, possibly to distance themselves from Matt. This feud was raw and real, playing out on the show and in interviews, with Zach feeling betrayed by his dad's decision. Fans ate up this conflict, and when the show ended after 25 seasons in 2024, they were left hungry for more upcoming new episodes. Platforms like That's have become a space for fans to keep the drama alive, and this Chris-Karen reel fits right into that. Another factor is the dynamic between Amy, Chris, Matt, and Karen. Divorce and new relationships always create tension, and the Roloff family is no exception. Amy and Matt have had to navigate co-parenting and co-managing the farm, which hasn't always been smooth. Amy's marriage to Chris brought a new dynamic, and while Chris seems to get along with everyone, there's always been a sense of underlying tension with Matt and Karen. For example, fans have speculated about Amy and Karen's relationship, wondering if there's bad blood since Karen was Matt's assistant before they started dating. The rumor about Chris mocking Karen could be fans projecting this tension, imagining a scenario where Chris takes a jab at Karen to defend Amy or stir the pot. Let's zoom in on Merrick for a moment. Chris has been a fan favorite since joining the show, often praised for his laid-back vibe and support for Amy. He's not the type to seek drama, at least not based on what we've seen. When Amy was dealing with the emotional weight of selling her share of the farm, Chris was there as her rock, helping her move into their new home. He's also been involved in farm events, like pumpkin season, but he's not running the show like Matt or Karen. The idea of him mocking Karen to visitors feels out of character, especially since he's kept a low profile when it comes to family feuds. If anything, Chris seems more likely to crack a dad joke than to throw shade at Karen in front of strangers. Now, let's consider Chandler's role. Karen has been a key figure at Rolloff Farms, helping Matt with everything from pumpkin season to managing rentals. She's been open about her love for the farm and her commitment to its success, but she's also been caught in the crossfire of family drama. When Matt and Zach's feud over the farm sale blew up, Karen was often mentioned as a factor, with some fans speculating that she influenced Matt's decisions. There's no proof of this, but it shows how fans are quick to weave Karen into the narrative. If she's against renting out the family home, it could be a practical stance. Maybe she thinks it's too personal or not worth the hassle. But without her saying so directly, we can't know for sure. The fan theory also ties into the broader question of what's happening with Rolloff Farms. After Amy sold her share, Matt has been focused on turning the farm into a bigger tourist destination, including short-term rentals. This has been a sore spot for Zach and Tori, who wanted to keep the farm in the family. The idea of renting out the main house would likely be a hot-button issue for the whole family, not just Karen. Fans might be picking up on this tension and spinning it into a story about Chris and Karen, especially since the farm's future has been such a big storyline. The rumor could be a way for fans to keep talking about the farm's legacy now that the show is over. So, what's the deal with this rumor? Let's break it down into what we know and what's just speculation. We know that Rolloff Farms is a major point of contention for the family, with Matt's business decisions causing friction with Zach and Tori. We know that Amy and Chris are settled in their new life, while Matt and Karen are running the farm together. We also know that fans love to speculate about the Roloffs, especially on platforms like That's, where small comments can turn into big theories. What we don't know is whether Chris actually mocked Karen or said anything about her views on renting out the home. Without a video, a direct quote, or a reliable source, this rumor remains unverified. One possible explanation is that fans are misinterpreting something that happened at the farm. Maybe Chris made a lighthearted comment during a tour, and someone took it out of context. Or maybe a visitor overheard a conversation and shared it online, where it got exaggerated. Pumpkin season at Rolloff Farms attracts tons of fans, and it's not uncommon for visitors to post about their experiences on social media. A casual remark could easily turn into Chris is mocking Karen in the hands of eager fans. Another possibility is that this is a complete fabrication, born out of fans' desire for more drama after the show's end. The Roloffs have always been a lightning rod for speculation, and this could be another example of fans filling the void. Let's also consider the timing. Little People, Big World wrapped up in 2024, and Zach and Tori announced they were done with the show, citing family drama as a reason. With no new episodes to fuel discussion, fans are turning to social media to keep the Roloff story alive. Recent posts from Tori and Amy show the family moving forward. Amy's been sharing about her life with Chris, and Tori's been posting about her kids. There's even been talk of reconciliation, with Tori sharing photos from a family gathering that included Audrey and Isabel Roloff. This suggests the family is trying to mend fences, which might make fans eager to find new drama, like this Chris-Karen story. So, why does this rumor resonate? It's classic reality TV drama. Family tension, new relationships, and a fight over a beloved property. The idea of Chris throwing shade at Karen fits the narrative of Amy versus Matt, with their new partners caught in the middle. Fans have seen Amy and Matt clash over the farm before, and they've speculated about Karen's role in the family. Adding Chris as a gossiping bystander makes for a juicy twist, even if it's not backed by evidence. Plus, the farm's future, especially the idea of renting out the family home, taps into fans' emotional connection to the Roloff legacy. In the end, this rumor about Chris mocking Karen and her stance on renting out the home is just that, a rumor. There's no solid proof to back it up, and it seems to stem from fans' love for Little People, Big World, and their knack for creating drama. Chris and Amy are living their life, Matt and Karen are running the farm, and the Roloff family is navigating their post-show reality. If there's any truth to this story, it's probably a small moment blown out of proportion. For now, we'll have to wait and see if anything more comes out. Maybe a post from Amy or Karen will set the record straight.